Good morning, everyone. This is Charles Wiles with the SOS Group, and I welcome you to the SOS Mastermind Group Workshop. Our topic today is one that's come up numerous times when I'm talking to my clients or prospective clients, and the focus is, we are hiring, or are we hiring? And the question is, where are we getting the resources from, and how are we going to satisfy the needs of our business when it comes to HR and attracting and retaining people? Our guest today is Jackie Gernaey. She is CEO and founder of SevenStar HR. Jackie, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Thank you, Charles. I have been in the working with small businesses for over 22 years. And SevenStar, just to let you know, SevenStar HR was founded really to help small business owners not have to focus on all the governmental HR laws, which continue to expand, allowing them to focus on growing their business. Part of SevenStar HR is our effective hiring process. And we're a team of people that work to get the best and help you retain the best.
Thank you, Jackie. The purpose of the Mastermind Group is to provide executives and owners an opportunity to work together in small groups of peers. They address the common business challenges that they have, and they learn from each other how to better achieve the results they're looking for. Some of the benefits by being a member of our Mastermind Group include informal and personal board of advisors available to you to share your challenges and share some of the successes and path forward that they've realized over time. It's an independent and diverse sounding board for executives and how they might move to the next stage. It helps with better informed decision-making by sharing experiences, sharing advice, and sharing accountability. It helps with more effective visionary thinking. And this is where a lot of businesses get so wound up with the doing of the do, they forget about the vision forward that's going to move them to the next level. We also include a one-on-one executive coaching and business mentoring process as part of our Mastermind Group. And it deals with a strategic transformation, both personal and professional. If you're interested in joining our Mastermind groups, we have several available today. I'd welcome you to contact me at the information that I've passed on to you before. Today's mission is discover new strategies to improve our success in attracting and retaining mission-critical human resources. And as I said before, we get this demand quite constantly from others when we say, what's going to take to move you to the next level? Our path is to discover, why are frontline workers really quitting? Good question. It costs you a lot to lose a valued resource, but it also costs you twice as much to bring a new one on board. Finding ways to hire exceptional talent other companies overlook. What employees have said that they both want and they need. Smart ways to attract remote employees during this great resignation period we're in. How activating your purpose can help you retain talent, and workers keep quitting, ways that we will get them to stay. The great resignation and the great regret. Jackie's going to go over a lot of these points with us. What are some of the challenges that we're facing? Generation change, expectations, COVID, entitlement, environment, be it remote or in an office, and many more. And it really depends on the nature of your business and how you plan to overcome these challenges. Because without resources, just a lone star out there peddling your goods. So I ask you, what will it take to succeed? Where will we start? We look at the SOS group, we look at the fundamentals of business, and we understand that cash flow and profit are significantly important, because without that, we can't pay for what we need to pay for to keep the business functioning. And we're also very concerned about sustainability. How are we going to keep this business going until we implement our exit strategy or continue to grow it to the level that you have in your dreams? And so we're looking for that key that's going to get us to that point. But there's a couple of main issues that have to be included in your strategy and your process forward. And one is the foundation, having a good strategy and a structure, having processes, resources, leadership, and goals and objectives. In the function side of the business, we need leads, conversions, sales, performance, cost control, cost income. And we also, in the financials, need a balanced scorecard for management to follow: metrics, cash flow, and increased profit. Alignment is one of the keys to success here. And we use a star diagram to implement or describe how this works. And it can be it can be customers, it can be culture, it can be most anything that you have on your target bullseye to hit. What does it take? It takes strategy, vision, values, and a plan. You've got to have that in order to start. Then you've got to create a structure and a strategy support to do that. And the structure has to be in line with the strategy of deliverables. You need to have processes, and written processes help people understand where they're going and how they're going to get there, so they don't have to wander around wondering what's next. Rewards are important. They motivate. We need to provide recognition. And it also affects the behavior of people. So you can see that all of these, if they're in alignment with each other, the communication works well. If for any reason the rewards are not in line with the strategy or the structure or your alignment is out the window. People, that's what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about how do we bring in the skills, the attitudes, and the behaviors that we're expecting to have. But most importantly, we need the leadership, and leadership needs to guide and direct the direction that we're going in. The hierarchy of alignment, the vision and objectives start with the definition of success. And what are those few and far in between critical success factors that we need in order to reach success? But we've always heard that the processes and the flow has to come from the bottom, because it does. It has to do with the teams focusing with the outside contractors or whoever the suppliers are, understanding the expectations, actions, and functions. And each one of these groups have to feed upward through their team and deliver the critical success components necessary for the whole system to work. And working from the bottom up is where we're finding a lot of the HR issues being addressed or not being addressed, as the case may be. But in the long run, culture is what you've got to focus on. Strategy gives you the focus. The customers are what you build your strategy around. But in alignment with that, you have to have leadership to guide the direction that the people want to go. And we want to create a culture which is going to be the outcome of how we do our work. An interesting quote says that culture isn't just one aspect of the game, it is the game. And in the end, an organization is nothing more than a collective capacity of its people to create value. But just hiring people and bringing them in and setting them in a seat doesn't get you where you want to go. When you start getting them working together, culture is the most powerful driver to organizational success available to leaders. I'm going to hand it over to Jackie. And Jackie, I'd like you to go through and tell us what we need to be looking for, what do we need to be doing, and where are we going? Jackie, I'm going to hand it over to you. Share screen with others. See if you can take now. Are you with me, Jackie?
I am with you. Can
Okay.
you see my screen?
No, I can't. What I'm going to do is I'm going to back out. There it is.
You find it?
I see your screen. It says hiring and retention, tips and tricks for 2022.
Okay, great. So we will get started down the path here. So here we go. So let's start looking at the process. As Charles talked about, really, we need a process for everything that we do in business, and hiring is not any unusual in this matter. So effective hiring is the process that we use and suggest that you use and adapt. It's been around for over 10 years and it really works. It uses best of breed tools, which we constantly look to update. And I'm going to cover how you can use this process in a do-it-yourself manner to achieve the best hiring and retention results you can. If there are questions, please put them in the chat and we will get to you on that. Okay, we use a 6-step process that we are going to discuss. It becomes very easy here. 6 steps, that's all. So the first step is preparation. You need to understand that this is a marketing process that you are preparing for. When you create an ad, when you are trying to build your brand here, it's all marketing. And keep that in mind as we do this. When you write an ad, you're trying now to convince someone that they are going to like being at your company. You can take some of the key responsibilities from your job description, but please don't put the whole description in as the ad. Only put in what will make the job sound interesting, what they will learn, what types of clients the company serves, especially if that is interesting, all about your great culture, as Charles talked about, the pay. Yes, you should put the pay in. It will attract. You need to know the salary range that must be included in your ad. In many places in the country, this is now the law that you need to do this. You want to give info applicants want to know: how many years you've been in business, interesting clients or projects, equipment applicants will like using, awards, accolades, the work culture. Again, don't forget, this is marketing to get the most applicants into the top of your funnel. Okay, so in many states, as I said, you need to put your salary range in. And to do that, we recommend you do a pay audit for each current job to review and ensure equal pay. You are also, well, we have some sites probably. Salary.com is one, but that tends to be for larger companies. So if you're a larger company, you'd want to use that. The one that I really like is payscale.com. So if you go into payscale.com and you act as if this was your own job, and don't say this is part of business, you will not have to pay to get this done. And I've had many positions according to PayScale, just when somebody asked me for a one-off. Now that many ads must have salary ranges, and by the way, if you're posting on Indeed, they have decided that if you don't put a salary range in, they will put one in for you, and you may not like what it is that they've decided to do. So set the salary range and do the research to get that done. Okay, you also want to make sure that you have a good hiring brand. You should have a good marketing brand, but you need to have a hiring brand. Much can be the same. Does your website, take a look, does your website make someone think it would be a great place to work? Do you have a LinkedIn company page? LinkedIn has become the second website for people in many cases. And does your LinkedIn profile reflect the great things about your company, as well as the LinkedIn profiles from others in your company? Candidates will be looking. They want to make sure, remember, there are more jobs than there are candidates. So this is a candidate marketplace, and you want to think about that as you're putting your plan together. Have you reviewed the reviews? So go on LinkedIn, take a look at are there reviews there? Take a look on Indeed, look on Glassdoor. We ask new hires to put a review of our hiring process on these sites as we hire, so that it will attract other people and make them know that it's a good experience being with our company. We also suggest you develop key accountabilities for each job. If you want to go on our effectivehiring.com website in the resources section, you can download a form fill document with directions that will tell you how to create key accountabilities. You can then use software, which will ask you to identify the things the job requires in the way of behaviors, what the driving forces are needed by the applicant or the employee, and what their attributes or soft skills are. And this, if you do that, this will actually help you by creating a behavioral interview questions, which I will show you when I talk about interviewing. Okay, so that's the preparation. Our next step focuses on how to get applicants. We suggest you use an applicant tracking system, or ATS, as many people call it. Saves time. All candidates can be quickly reviewed in one location. No resumes pile up on desks. You have the ability to find the best candidate among all applicants because you have software that can search and sort and sift through all of the resumes. It has collaboration tools to help keep all discussions between hiring managers and those who are doing the recruiting for you with the applicant record. It also allows you to set up a custom workflow and automate emails, texts, and tasks for anyone who can view your applicants. Applicants can apply on their phone, which will get you in this day and age an increase of about 60 to 70%, as we're seeing 60 to 70% of applicants are applying via their phone. Okay, posting is also done easily through an applicant tracking system. All ads are kept in editable templates, so locating previous ads is a snap. Our ATS is tied to thousands of paid and unpaid job boards, so you can post in many different locations automatically. I really recommend that you don't just use Indeed. Remember, job boards, and Indeed is one of them, are just a list of all of the people that come in and apply. So as time goes on with Indeed, like the others, you become part down at the bottom of the list. So getting some of these other things, Monster, ZipRecruiter, LinkedIn, they're called native, which means that this is not sponsored, but the applicant tracking system will post. We see things coming in from Facebook for jobs, LinkedIn for jobs, Google for jobs, some of those that are not the big gorilla Indeed. You should also have an applicant tracking system that can tie it to your LinkedIn and Facebook pages and your website, and include SEO words and phrases so that if someone is looking something up on Google, it sends them to you to apply. Those people that when you post an ad, those are actively looking candidates. They will respond to ads, but you also want to go after those people who are employed through passive techniques. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. So you may have heard of sponsored Indeed, which these days is $600 to $800 to get you to the top of the list for a period of time. Programmatic is a different software method, which you may not have heard about, but which you know about. Those of you who have ever gone on Google and looked for a pair of khakis, for example, know that next time you go into Google, you're going to get ads for khakis chasing you. Programmatic is for recruiting, does the same kind of thing. If someone will actually go in and apply, look for what is the salary of a customer service person in Albany, New York, it allows, your ad will actually pop up. It also allows your spend, if you're going to do sponsored, to go to not only Indeed, but many others. And it moves the dollars around based on what site is performing best on a daily basis. So you get much more for your money than just paying Indeed. There are databases that are available. You can buy these and then search. They're not that expensive. I think Indeed, for example, you can spend a couple $100 for a month and then search their database. The nice thing is for these databases that you can see when they were last updated. So that's an inexpensive way if you're not getting the applicants that you feel you should. There are also sites like diversityjobboard.com so that you can amplify diversity to get people that may not be around. And diversity can be, we see things like people decide they want to use I hire military, for example. They like to get returning soldiers, and that would be included on a diversity, in a diversity play that you want to do. So think what type of people might be the ones that I could bring in. Somebody that is a construction worker that's disabled, unable to swing a hammer, still might be a really great person to do estimates for you. They understand, if you're in construction, what that's all about. And then you want to consider remote workers. This is something that COVID has brought us, the ability to hire anywhere for some jobs and get people from other states. You know, I have brought in people from Montana who really, even though they have brains, the only jobs are to flip burgers or fold clothes at a Gap. So they're real excited to be able to do something and use their brain. Remember that the HR laws differ by state. So if you do that, make sure that your employee handbook covers those states. Another way to get more people into your funnel is to upskill. And this is kind of something that you can do. If here's a process that you could go through. But what upskilling does is it takes your great employees who have the capacity to learn and allows you to promote them and then hire an easier to find lower level person. That's going to also boost morale, which helps retention. So you get a twofer on upskilling. Okay, so that's how we get the candidate. Now we've gotten them, how do we narrow them? We talked a little bit about applicant tracking system tools, important in this economy, using 4 to 5 application questions, which are set up in a format where you can search on the answers, right? It's not a paragraph you want them to write, but multiple choice. And this is important because I have some, as we said, the Great Resignation means that there are a lot of people that are looking. I've gotten sometimes 100 candidates at a time, and it's like, do I start from the top, the first one that applied and go down? No, don't do that. If you have an applicant tracking system, use the questions that are requirements and say, hey, I'm going to search on those amongst all of them, not based on when they applied. You can also use keyword searches. You can use knockout questions, so you're not looking at people that, if you require 5 years experience that have 0 to 1 year, you can say, I don't want to even see that. So you can set that up. And it allows you to set up specific templates for things like an interview phone screen, especially if you have multiple people that are working on hiring, so that they can kind of see what's going on. Well, what did they say in this phone screen before I start my second interview? So that's really important as well. Most important in today's economy is something called Wonderlic from our standpoint. You can teach people skills, but not intelligence. The ability for someone to learn a new job is really important. And we do Wonderlicks on all applicants and find that is a really great way to limit the number, shrink, so that you're not looking at everyone. We talked about benchmarking the job, and there are assessments that you can do to match to the job benchmark. You can see in here what is driving the person. Driving forces are things you can't see in an interview, but are really important. If this were going to be a salesperson, you can see that nowhere in the driving forces is utilitarian or focusing on money. So this person probably wouldn't be a good sales candidate. Behavioral style, the DISC predicts how they're going to handle problems, people, processes, and rules set by others. So that might be important. This profile would be really good for somebody who is either going to be an attorney, rule follower, the C is rule following, and process. So an accountant, an attorney, you want them to be this kind of behavioral profile. And then we talked about soft skills already. This is the last piece of the 3 pieces we review, and then match it to that job benchmark. Okay, so those were the soft skills that we talked about. There are also hard skills, and this is something that you can create yourself. If you want them to be able to use an Excel spreadsheet, give them a little assignment, and when they come in or online and say, set up right in front of me, set up an Excel spreadsheet and a formula as an example. Also, if you're hiring someone for the shop floor and you want them to be able to put some pieces together within a timely basis, you can give them directions and say, do that. So hard skills are the last piece that we really look at. These are things that usually you can see on a resume. It says these are the things that they've accomplished, and we believe them in the beginning. So it's a trust but verify when we get to the end, the last piece of hiring. We also have some specialized assessments we use. The Bennett Mechanical is something we use for manufacturing, and the OMG sales capability is one we use to see, are they a hunter or a farmer, or what is it that you're looking for in the sales area, because you could be looking for a variety of things. So use a tool to help make sure. You're going to invest a whole lot of time in training this person. So you want to make sure they're smart, and you want to make sure they have the innate ability to do the job from a hard skill basis. All right, you've gotten them narrowed. Now you need to interview. And the most important thing that I tell people when they're interviewing is really focusing not on technical competence, but on behavioral attributes. I can't tell you how many people hire for skills, and then they fire them because they have a bad attitude. You also want to make sure that you don't sell the candidate rose-colored, as it said, version of what the job is like. Tell them what it's really like. If they're going to be focusing on a lot of details, you want to let them know. You want to make sure that you are ensuring this is a good fit, not only for you, but for them, because if so, that's going to help you in keeping them. So how do you improve your interview skills? We suggest you use behavioral interview questions, which is something that I mentioned that I'd talk about later. And these are some examples of questions for personal accountability. That's usually one that most all jobs, they want people to be accountable. But here's some questions that you could pick out and ask on that particular topic. You want to make sure that interviewees are the ones spending 80% of the time talking, not you. If you're spending more than 20% of the time talking, you're selling them on the job, and that's really not what you want to do. Don't change the job to meet their skills. Oh, I found this really nice, cool person. They don't have the skills that I really need, but I'm going to change the job. That's not a good idea. Do hire, Charles talked about setting your vision, and you want to hire based on whether they can help you achieve your vision. If you're going to be hiring in person, please do not hire across a desk. In other words, if you are the boss, go around the other side and make them feel more comfortable rather than having that power of being across a desk. And I also recommend you don't do group interviews either. It's really a little much for someone, and you're not going to get the true interaction that you need to see if in fact they are going to be a fit for you. Okay, the last step is onboarding them. And what you want to do is understand that the first 30 days are key to making them feel like they belong. So you want to use scheduled video or face-to-face meetings, depending on what you're doing and whether the person is virtual or not. You want to have the owner, CEO, welcome them and discuss the company vision. Another good reason to follow the SOS model and make sure you have a vision. And you want to introduce them to others, telling them how they will interact with each other. You want to make sure most of this is not actually having them do this piece, which is signing a whole bunch of compliance paperwork. They're so excited to come in, and what happens on day one? They actually spend much of the day signing paperwork. Oh man, that is just not making them feel like this is going to be a great place to live. There's a way to deal with this. We digitize and automate the onboarding, and many of your payroll companies will have something along this line. So you want to make sure that you digitize this and get this done in advance. Ours allows for automated assignments, tasks with deadlines for not only the new person coming in, but also other employees within the company. existing staff assignments. So that could be that someone from another department needs to take them out to lunch, as an example, and it would be assigned not to the new employee, but to the other person who's supposed to be doing that. If you're going to integrate them, think up some fun team things to help build that. You can do it whether it's remote or whether it's on site. So you can see some people have come up with some of these interesting things. And if you have branded company materials, make them feel welcome. Give them, make them feel part of the team. Here are the shirts. Here's the cups. Here's the hats. Whatever it is that you have, make sure that you use that. Okay, so retention. The first step is preparation. You need to understand when you are even preparing your ad, you want to make sure that you keep retention in mind. So we said, put all the good things about it, right? So when you are doing the interview, you want to make sure that you are focused on retention. And so we're going to talk a little bit about this. So we keep being told that engagement is the most important thing for retention. And I believe we really haven't moved the needle on retention, on focusing how engaged they are. You can see where it is. It's the blue in here, and there are all sorts of drivers of turnover that have nothing to do with how engaged they are. So you want to keep this in mind. And when you have these in mind, think of interviewing and screening for those retention drivers. The majority of people come to you with retention as being someone that's really going to become integrated into your company. So here's some interview questions to flag flight risk. Tell me about a time you experienced burnout, or what are the 3 main reasons you've left a job in the past? Why did you apply for this? How satisfied are you with your career? I hired a CPA for a company, and she had gone from job to job. I didn't recommend her, but they decided she was really important to them. And so what we found was that she was really in the wrong. She hated being a CPA. She kept trying to go from place to place to see if she could find something better, a place that was better, when in actuality it was really her. So look at these onboarding statistics. 14.48% who quit within 6 months. 33 who quit within 90 days. 17.4 quit within the first week, and 50% within 120 days. So, wow. You can see retention. If you hire somebody good, you want to make sure that you retain it. So are you getting it wrong? Does your retention plan express your culture? Is onboarding too short? how long does it really take? I know if I hire an admin within my office, that it takes 6 months. We do so many different things. There's just no way that they're going to get it all. So setting expectations for week 1, week 2, month 2, etc., is really in detail, is really important, because if they feel they're struggling, and everyone who starts a new job struggles, they don't know where the bathroom is, for goodness sakes. So you want to make sure that they feel, here's what I expected in the first week, review it with them, and then they can understand, hey, I'm doing a good job. You're doing a good job. You tell them, at the end of, you're doing just what we expect, right? You need to really understand how long it takes for someone to be productive. Gallup found that new employees typically take around 12 months to reach their full performance potential within a role. And many managers sigh in relief when someone is hired and don't finish the hiring job, by onboarding well. This is really important. If well structured, a good onboarding program increases the likelihood that they're going to remain by 69%. Something else that's kind of interesting is looking at what are the time frames that people will leave. Work anniversaries. So 6 to 9% increase in the number of people who leave at work in anniversaries. Midlife birthday milestones. I reached 30, 40, 50. I gotta get on with it. And a large gathering of their peers, like a reunion, where they're comparing themselves to other people. So knowing this, you want to make sure that at anniversary time or midlife birthday milestones, that you are really focusing on retention, right? And what can you do? Make sure, these are great retention drivers. Make sure that it's a healthy work environment. More than just COVID type healthy in how people are interacting with each other. You want to make sure there are rewards and recognition. One of the biggest things that came up in relative to COVID is flexibility. Man, we gave them the ability to work from home when they wanted, and that flexibility, they may not have realized how much they wanted it, but they do now. Set up a healthy relationship with their managers. Make sure that's happening. People don't quit jobs, they quit managers. So keep that in mind. And make sure it's a competitive compensation. Right now, prices are going up, and they're going to keep continuing to go up for a while, because less jobs, or more jobs, less people, right? I want to thank you for attending. We do have a gift to give you, which is our HR MRI diagnostic tool. This is no charge to you for attending, and you just need to contact Charles, and he will make sure that you get this. So, Charles, have there been any questions posted at this point, or did I get it all covered?
I think you did a great job. You covered a lot of the aspects that we don't think about sometimes. And you know, as business owners and business managers, we get so wound up in the do that we forget about some of these things that you pointed out. And I love your percentages because they really give you an opportunity to say, okay, here's a benchmark or here's a road marker that says we need to pay attention to what we're doing. And I think what you've done is you've done a fabulous job of presenting what you've got.
Great. So I'm going to hand back to you. Did we lose you?
There we go.
Okay, good.
I'm going to go back to our core slides for a moment and do a recap. Some of the things that you've highlighted for us, Jackie, and I'd like to let you go over those.
Okay, so it's fairly simple in both of these. In hiring, have a written process. Let's start there. That's the most important thing. And don't just jump in. Say, hey to somebody, I'm going to throw an ad on Indeed. Prepare. Look at what the job is. Look at what the salary is. And focus on that. Use tools to make hiring more effective for you, save you time, etc. Include a strategy for candidates who aren't looking for jobs because there aren't enough people looking for jobs to fill them all. And make sure you train everyone on really how to interview and interview properly. And in retention, not that much different. Instead of a written process, have a written plan, right? All important. Make sure retention starts with your hiring process. We talked about the details, either of the questions that you could use to hire somebody. Make sure that they have a propensity to stay, I guess, and also onboarding them to make sure that you do it in a way to keep new hires. You got to understand why it is that employees leave and understand the retention drivers, and then you can get a great plan based on that.
Jackie, I really appreciate what you've gone through here. I think it's going to be of immense value to some of the clients that I deal with, and with the primary problem of, you know, what can I do different from what I'm doing today, and where can we go tomorrow? I'm going to leave this screen up here for those that would like to get the information to contact you or contact me directly. We work together through an affiliation called the SOS-advisors.com, and we invite people to inquire and look at our team. We'll have more workshops like this where we bring out the SOS Mastermind group, a strategy of introducing new opportunities. And I want to thank Jackie again for her time and effort and her professionalism. And Jackie, you cover more on the HR issue than I've ever seen covered by others in the past. And I want to congratulate you on your presentation and a job well done. And I wish you much success. And I'm looking forward to interconnecting some clients with you.
Okay, well, thank you so much. And thank all of you who listened. And hopefully you will get some tips and tricks. Whether you're hiring someone to do the hiring or doing it yourself.
Jackie, thank you. And I wish Much success to those that participate and listen into this broadcast, and we look forward to hearing from you in the near future. Thank you very much.